morning. On Wednesday morning, Santa Clara PD officers responded to a disturbance call on the north side of Santa Clara. The call resulted in one of our officers shooting an assailant who was actively attacking another person with a knife. Based on our preliminary investigation, we believe the officer's actions prevented further harm and clearly saved at least one life, and possibly others. While we are early in the ongoing investigation, I want to share with you the following facts as they are known at this time. On Wednesday morning at approximately 6:18 a.m., officers responded to a 911 call from a residence on the 1800 block of Eisenhower Drive involving a disturbance between two roommates. As officers were responding to the location, they received information that the situation had escalated and the suspect was now stabbing the victim. The first arriving officer ran to the front door and identified themselves. The officer could hear a loud commotion inside and decisively made a crisis entry into the residence by kicking open the locked front door. The officer quickly followed the sounds toward the hallway where the attack was taking place. The officer saw 4 people in the hallway, including the suspect who was straddling the victim, effectively pinning the victim to the ground. I'll direct your attention to the still image from the involved officer's body-worn camera. You see the suspect is positioned on top of the victim and the victim's on the bottom. You will notice one roommate at the back end of the hallway, and off the screen we know that the reporting party was standing in this room with the open door to the left. The officer attempted to de-escalate the situation with verbal commands, but the suspect ignored the commands and raised their arm holding the knife to a striking position above the victim. When the officer saw the suspect's hand holding the knife come down towards the victim, the officer shot 4 times, striking the suspect with all 4 of the shots. This is another still image from the body camera after the shooting, and you'll notice the knife visible in the hallway. The 2 other occupants were safe during the incident and were directed outside to safety with the victim, while the officer, who was still the only officer on scene, stayed with the suspect waiting for backup. Upon their arrival, officers provided medical aid until EMS arrived. The suspect was transported to a local hospital where they were pronounced deceased at 7:22 a.m. The victim was transported to another local hospital where they were treated for multiple stab wounds to the hands, chest, lung, and abdomen before being released. The victim expressed gratitude for the quick and decisive actions by law enforcement, as they were in fear for their life. Fortunately, no officers were injured during the incident. Based on witness statements, the suspect used 2 knives during the assault. The first knife broke away at the handle. The suspect then retrieved a second knife in order to continue the assault. One officer discharged their firearm during the incident. The officer, Robert Alsop, has been an officer approximately 12 years as a police officer. He is trained in crisis intervention, and Officer Alsop's body-worn camera was activated throughout the entire incident, including at the time of the shooting. The County of Santa Clara Office of the Medical Examiner Coroner is still working to locate and notify next of kin. Therefore, the name of the decedent is being withheld at this time. Let me be clear. Any loss of life is tragic, and our thoughts are with everyone affected by this incident. At the same time, I want to commend the officer for their bravery in confronting an immediate threat under extremely difficult circumstances. The officer's split-second decision in a life-threatening situation ensured that nobody else was injured or killed. Our officers train for moments like this, not because we want to face them, but because we must be prepared to protect lives when every second counts. I also want to commend our dispatchers, whose calm and clear communication during the incident was critical to the safety of everyone involved. Their professionalism behind the scenes makes all the difference in dynamic moments like these. As is standard in all officer-involved shootings, the officer is currently on paid administrative leave while thorough investigations are conducted by our department and the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. Because this matter is still being investigated, in order to protect the integrity of that investigation and the privacy interests of those involved, I'm limited in what more I can say,